All right, let's talk about something that so many of us do every single day, especially if you're over 50. You know the routine. You get up, have your coffee, and you take that little vitamin D supplement, feeling good that you're looking out for your bones and your immune system. And for years, we've all been told that's the smart thing to do.
But what if I told you that that simple, healthy habit could be setting you up for a pretty serious problem down the road? What if trying to do the right thing for your bones was actually putting your heart at risk? It sounds crazy, I know, but let's dig into how this could be happening.
Okay, so to really get what's going on here, we have to understand vitamin D's job. It is absolutely fantastic at helping us absorb calcium from the food we eat. But, and this is the big but, its job stops right there. It opens the door and lets calcium into your bloodstream, but it gives it zero instructions on where to go next. And that, right there, is where the trouble can start.
This leads to something called the calcium paradox, and it's exactly what it sounds like. A situation where a person has weak, brittle bones that are desperate for calcium, but at the very same time, their arteries are becoming hard and calcified from too much calcium. This is a huge risk factor for heart attacks and strokes. So how on earth can you be short on calcium in one place and have a dangerous buildup of it in another? It just doesn't seem to make sense.
Think of it like this. Calcium, once it's in your bloodstream, is like a confused tourist in a new city with no map. It's just wandering around looking for a place to go. Ideally, you want that tourist to find its way to your bones and teeth. That's where it makes you strong. But without a guide, it can get lost and end up in all the wrong places, like your arteries, your heart valves, or even your kidneys, where it forms painful kidney stones.
This question really gets to the heart of the whole problem. You've got all this calcium floating around in your body, yet your bones are getting weaker while your arteries are getting harder. The key to solving this mystery, it turns out, is a nutrient that most of us have never even heard of.
And that unsung hero, that missing guide for our lost little calcium tourist, is vitamin K2. It's the crucial partner that vitamin D needs to do its job safely and effectively. They're a team, a dynamic duo in our bodies.
So let's stick with our analogy. Vitamin D is the gatekeeper. Its only job is to unlock the gate in your gut, allowing that calcium to get into your bloodstream in the first place. And it does that job perfectly. Without vitamin D, you wouldn't get that calcium to begin with.
But once that calcium is through the gate and into the bloodstream, that's where vitamin K2 comes in. If vitamin D is the gatekeeper, then vitamin K2 is the traffic cop. It steps in and starts directing all that calcium, waving it through to the right destination, your bones, and putting up roadblocks to keep it out of the wrong neighborhoods, like your soft tissues and arteries.
So how does this traffic cop actually work its magic? Well, it does two really amazing things. First, it activates a protein called osteocalcin, which you can think of as a little calcium taxi that grabs calcium from the blood and drives it directly into your bones. At the same time, it activates another protein, MGP, which acts like a cleanup crew, sweeping any stray calcium out of your arteries to keep them flexible and clear.
So now we know just how important K2 is. The obvious next question is, great, how do I get it? And this, my friends, is where it gets a little complicated because not all vitamin K is the same.
You've probably heard you should eat leafy greens for vitamin K. And you should, but that's vitamin K1. Its main job is helping your blood clot, which is super important, but it does next to nothing when it comes to directing calcium. The one we're talking about, vitamin K2, is found in totally different foods, like animal fats from grass-fed animals and some very specific fermented foods. That's the one that partners with vitamin D.
And here's the real kicker. Our modern Western diet is pretty much empty when it comes to vitamin K2. We used to get it from things like organ meats or butter from cows that ate grass all day. Now, the absolute best food source on the planet for K2 is a Japanese dish called natto, which is fermented soybeans. And, well, let's just say its strong smell and kind of slimy texture haven't really made it a bestseller over here.
So, since it's so tough to get from food, a supplement is often a way to go. But you have to pick the right one. You'll mainly see two forms out there, MK4 and MK7. Now, MK4 is okay, but it's gone from your body in just a few hours. MK7, on the other hand, sticks around for several days, giving you long-lasting protection. It is, without a doubt, the gold standard you want to look for on the label.
And what about dosage? Well, a really good rule of thumb that a lot of health experts use is to take about 100 micrograms of vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form, for every 5,000 to 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 you're taking. The good news is a lot of companies are now combining them into one easy supplement.
Okay, let's put this all together into a really simple plan you can use right away. But to make sure this whole system, this whole partnership is working at its absolute peak, there's one more member of the team we need to talk about. And that third key player is magnesium. It turns out your body can't even switch on the vitamin D you're taking if you don't have enough magnesium. And since most of us are low on magnesium, it's so important to think of these three together. This isn't just a duo, it's the holy trinity for your bone and heart health: D3, K2, and magnesium. So here it is, your simple 4-step plan. First, go look at your supplement bottle. If it just says vitamin D3, you're missing the traffic cop. Second, your next bottle should be a combo of D3 and K2 as MK7. Third, try to work some K2-rich foods into your diet, like grass-fed butter, egg yolks, or some good aged cheeses. And finally, number 4, make sure you're getting enough magnesium so the whole system can work like it's supposed to.
Look, you're already doing a wonderful thing by taking your health seriously with vitamin D. By just making one small change, by adding its essential partner, K2, you're making sure that all that effort goes toward building a stronger body, not a more brittle one. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Is this the first time you're hearing about just how incredibly important vitamin K2 is? Think about that. Thanks for tuning in.